I'm going to talk to you about machine polishing. Hello again, it's a new week, a different car, Audi SQ5, and I've not really taken any video for a while. I've had a few other things on. We're on day 3 now, and just the 2 wings, the bonnet, the bumper, and 1 door, and half a roof has been properly polished. So let me show you a few of the defects that I'm dealing with. It might not look like very heavy swirling, but I can assure you these are being an absolute pain to polish out. So we've got a good mix of deep swirls, deep scratch lines where it looks like a friendly dealer has dried it with a water blade. That's what that long line there is. And then buffer trails from where someone has tried to polish it in the past. And all of that in combination with the fact that the paint is probably one of the hardest that I've ever had to polish. I wasn't planning on making a video on machine polishing on this particular car, but it's been such a pain in the ass to polish, I thought I'd just take 5 minutes away from machine polishing to explain the different polishes I use. This is the weakest polisher, if you like it, the least amount of cutting force. It's a free spinning dual action or orbital, so the head will move kind of around like that, and the motion of it will cause the head to spin. And I use it mainly as a finishing tool, just to kind of get that real crisp finish right at the very end with a finishing polish and a very soft pad. This is probably my most used polisher. It's a hybrid between these two, and it does the same motion as this. It kind of moves back and forth, but it doesn't free spin. It's like, I don't know if anyone remembers having a spiral graph where the wheel went round inside the cog and slowly moved. This is the same thing. If you look inside the... You see that? There you go. This one, very useful, it's called a Flex VRG 3401 VRG. And a lot of detailers use it because it's got a great amount of cutting power, but it also finishes down nicely. It doesn't give you the usual buffer trails that you get from this. This being my old trusty rotary, which I've had since I started detailing about 11 years ago. It's a Sealy, it weighs a ton, and it's very powerful, so you can put loads of pressure onto the panel and it's never going to bog down. And this is just a straight rotary, so it just rotates around one fixed axis. It's great for kind of focusing heat on a certain area, but you obviously have to be very careful with it because you can rip through the paint much more easily than these two. This one will still burn through the paint. This one, I think probably the only way you can damage the car with this one is if you dropped it on it or threw it at the car. This one you could still burn through. This one you'll definitely burn through if you don't know what you're doing. But still needed in some instances, especially on this car that's got extremely hard paint on it. Polishes. These are just some blocks full of polishes. Yeah, these are just some of the polishes I've got. I've got more in the van as well. And one thing people ask me is like, oh, what polish do you use for this? It's like, I don't know. There's 6 polishes here, they all do different things. These are the 2 ranges that I use a lot at the moment. So you've got Koch Chemi, hard, medium and soft, and Menzerner, hard, medium and soft. And they're very similar. I find these work a little bit longer and don't dust as much, but these have still got their place. And every car, and even on some cars, every panel is different. If it's been repainted or if it's got a different material underneath the paint, like this has got an aluminium bonnet and then steel side panels. The bonnet was completely different to polish to the rest, so often you'll need a different tool, a different polish, and there's one. Pads. These are between £7 and £10 each for different pads, and again, 1 box, 2 boxes, and I think I've got 2 more boxes in the van. 2 more boxes in the van, and when you work out that they're £7 to £10 a pad, it's expensive. Oh, and small ones as well. So then different size pads. So this is a 3-inch. These are normally 5.5 inch. So different pad sizes depending on what you're doing. and obviously then different grades of pad to go with the different grades of polish, and sometimes you mix and match, you go for a hard polish on a softer pad or a finishing polish on a harder pad, and it's just trial and error sometimes. Usually there's a go-to, so I'll often start with Menzona 400 or Gtechniq H8 as just a kind of a rough guide of how a car's going to come up. If that doesn't cut through it, you can step to something harder. If that cuts through really well, maybe you can come down a little bit. I will now continue polishing.
Honey, 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 honey.
Yeah, quick update. One of the polishes and pads I didn't show you earlier was this Rupes blue pad with their Zephyr course. So I haven't actually used this polish for coming up for a year, but I don't know why. I tried everything else on this car, and for instance yesterday it took me all day to polish and refine the wing and the two doors. So that's just 3 panels in one day. So I don't know why I thought, I know, let's try that blue polish, and it is the best polish in the world for this car anyway. So that's corrected. It needs refining because I don't know if you can see, there's a bit of a just there, look here in the paint, there's a bit of a hazy patch, or as it's okay, there's a bit of a hazy patch in the paint, but in terms of correction that's coming up a lot quicker than the other one was. So this comes back to what I was saying earlier about there is no one right polish. This was a polish that I haven't used in ages because the last time I used it, it was pretty ineffective. And on this particular car, it seems to be amazing. I've just remembered why I stopped using this pad. You see, it has this open cell structure. The pad is like it's more like a kind of a plastic material than a foam. It's very open. Well, it creates a ton of dust. So that's why I stopped using it. Whoa. What the hell? That was weird. I have to see if that's... Well, so that's why I stopped using it, but obviously on this car it seems to be the best thing for the polishing. Good morning, it is 7:32 and back on this car for day 5. Yes, 5 days. I've never polished a car with such hard paint, so it's quite apt that I'm doing a machine polishing vlog on this one. At the moment I'm using this little thing which I didn't show yesterday. So there's another little tool, it's a rotary, because there's a couple of really deep lines across here. On any other car you could probably just get them out with the flex or the big rotary. But because the paint's so hard on this, it just needs a bit more of a focused tool to just focus the polishing on that small area. And that's too deep to come out with the bigger machine polisher, so I'm gonna hit it with this one again. So 2 more things while I remember them, and it might be a bit jumbled up, this video, because I'm not really doing a tutorial on how to machine polish. I'm just showing you a little bit about machine polishing. One of the questions I had was show me about machine polishing, so this is that video. And before everyone kind of says, oh, you didn't measure the paint depth gauge, you see that? It beeps, that says 183, 190, 189, 203, so I'm taking a little bit off because I haven't polished up here. 209, 202, and then down here 185. So if we take a bit I haven't polished, 200 microns, and if we say very safely that 30% of that is lacquer, because you've got base coat, colour coat, lacquer, and you're just polishing the lacquer. If we say 30% of that is lacquer, then 30% of 200 is around 60 microns. So from 200,
I'm going to say I've got safely down to 120 microns before I'm risking burning through. I'm going to take that to 150 because I want to leave the poor person some lacquer on their car. So at 190, I'm probably going to give that a couple more hits without any risk of going through the lacquer. Obviously it's not just about depth, it's about heat as well, so you don't want to get it too hot because then it will just rip the lacquer. Another thing, holograms. Can you see all of these lines? Where is it? Here. Here? Here. Can you see these like lines? When people talk about holograms, that's hologramming, where I've used the small tool, not broken the polish down very well because I know I'm going over it again afterwards, and you can literally see where I've been with the little buffer. So that is a hologram. So polishes, you get coarse polishes and fine polishes. Coarse polishes will have larger abrasives in them that as you work them will get a little bit smaller, but they'll still be cutting into the paint a lot. Small or fine polishes have very small abrasives which aren't going to do much correction, but they're just going to get rid of all those marks and then make it a nice glassy finish. So this needs going over probably with 2 different refining polishes. That's what I've been finding on the rest of the paint. Every car is different, every bit of paint is different. Some you might be able to go straight from a really coarse and break that down a lot so it's almost refined anyway, and then just do another refining stage just to really jewel it up. So again, every car's different, there's no one polish that works on everything. Right, do you notice anything different? No more buffer trails. Couple of lines left. I'm probably not going to go any further on those because I've done them 3 times with the little wool and 3 times now with the Rupes blue pad, but that's got rid of the buffer trails. There's still buffer trails here, so that's how it was, and that's the front now. It's not refined, it's just got through the buffer trails, so that's going to have another probably 1 or 2 stages of refining after that. So that'll be 1, 2, 3 with the wool, 3 with the blue, so that's 6 and 7, 8 hits. That's why it's taken me, this is day 5 and I still haven't finished machine polishing. But it's getting there, and when it comes up looking like that, you see there's a slight mark. That's how picky you've got to be. Where's it gone? Any mark? There, look. See it? So that's the kind of level I'm trying to get to, is obviously get it better than that, but that one's just a bit too deep. But I think this is just where a branch or something has come down the whole side, because there was 2 or 3 long lines all the way down the side of the car. Right, the last step is refining, which I'll do on this tool, which is the one with the free spinning head. So if you put a lot of pressure on it, it just stalls and just kind of goes backwards and forwards. But if you ease it off slightly, as it's oscillating like this, it will also start spinning, which you'll hopefully see in the video when I zoom in. Oh yeah, and this is Gtechniq, stupid name, M201. Why don't they just call it fine? And the only other thing to do is, once it is all polished, use a panel wipe. I think I've shown this before, just to wipe over the panel, make sure there's no oils or fillers from the polish. Okay, they don't contain fillers, but the oils that carry all the abrasives can fill any kind of last little remaining marks, so you think it looks okay, but actually you just need to check it with a panel wipe. This is Spies Hecker 7010, and just throw it onto a cloth and wipe over. About 5 seconds ago, I just threw my hands in the air, screamed out some expletives, because at the end of 5 days, the SQ5 is finally done. It is 9 o'clock on Friday, and that is the end of the 5th day. I think every night really has been about 7:30, 8 o'clock finish, but it's finished. If I never see an Estoril Blue SQ5 again, it will be far too soon. But it looks good. Wearing Gtechniq Crystal Serum and C0 Aero Coat. It's now corrected. So even though it's a used car, the customer wanted it obviously looking a lot better than normal used cars. Standard was pretty poor. A lot of dealership car washes obviously, and bush scratches all down the side. But now it's nice and glossy again, looking pretty much like a new car. There was some deep marks that couldn't come out, and then obviously protected for its new life. Well, that's it really. I don't have much else to say. If I've missed any bits on the machine polishing when I watch back the edit and think, oh, I didn't explain this, then I will do it in another video probably. But like I said, it wasn't really a tutorial on machine polishing, it was just showing you a little bit about what goes into it. Alright, thanks for watching.